Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Money Man channel. My name is John. I wanted to talk to you guys today about why you should buy a Tesla Model 3 in 2021. Now, I'm going to put my top 7 reasons why I think you guys should buy a Tesla Model 3 in 2021. To get started, my first reason for buying a Tesla Model 3 is the state and federal tax incentives. Now, if you watched my last video, I went over the Charge Up New Jersey rebate, which is a point of sale rebate. Essentially what happens in New Jersey, which is where I live, is they take $5,000 directly off the MSRP. If you go on the website, you'll see that the price of the Tesla Model 3 is $39,990. Now, that car automatically in New Jersey goes right down to $34,990, which if you look back in 2016, they MSRP'd the car for $35,000 flat. I mean, you can't beat that price. It's right back to where it was when Elon Musk originally priced the vehicle. So that's just one state of many that provides a rebate or some sort of tax incentive for you. Now, I'm going to show you on my phone. We'll go over the Tesla website now and we'll look at all the different tax incentives or how you can actually see if your state offers one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Tesla state incentives. All right, and then this is the one we want. Electric vehicle and solar incentives Tesla. Here we go. So federal tax incentives, you're going to see it's just solar because they don't know what they're doing with the cars. And then here's where you'll go and you can go ahead and click on find your state. We'll just go down the list. As you can see, we'll go through a couple. California, they offer a bunch of rebates. So $2,000 or $4,500 based on income eligibility for the Model 3 or the Model Y. Then they also have that $1,500 California clean fuel reward, right? So that's a lot right there. You're looking at around, if you get the full rebate, the $4,500 plus the $15,000, you're looking at $6,000 right there, right? If you keep scrolling down, we got Colorado, $2,500 tax credit for the purchase of a new vehicle, and then $1,500 for the lease of a new vehicle. Connecticut, $2,250 rebate for vehicles with a MSRP under $42,000. We keep going. Delaware, $2,500 for a purchase under $60,000. As you guys can see, there's tons of different incentives based on the state that you live in. Florida and Georgia aren't great in terms of what they offer. Hawaii's not that great. I mean, state exemption from vehicle inspection or maintenance. I mean, that's not great for Idaho. Illinois, not that great. Indiana, not that great. Just going through a bunch. Maryland, $700 off wall connectors. I mean, that's actually pretty good because I think the wall connector, if you want to get it in your house, is like $500. But that's the installation, so I don't know how much that costs, but that's pretty good. Massachusetts, that's good. $2,500 rebate on a vehicle under $40,000, so obviously the Model 3 qualifies for all the ones we've already mentioned thus far. I live in New Jersey, so if we scroll down, they actually didn't even update the website if I'm not mistaken. Oh, here it goes. It's right here. They actually did just update it today because I checked yesterday and it wasn't there. So $5,000 rebate for new vehicles with a base MSRP under $45,000. That's the Model 3. And then a $2,000 rebate for new vehicles with a base MSRP between $45,000 and $55,000. So that's like the long range and the performance range Model 3, I believe. I believe the performance falls under that as well. So yeah, guys, I mean, if depending on what state you live in, you should use this website and see what they offer in your state. Aside from the state tax incentives, we also have federal. And so federal now has already been passed in terms of Tesla has passed the limit for being able to offer any federal tax incentive. In 2018, they hit the cap of selling 200,000 plus vehicles. And after any company hits over 200,000 plus electrical vehicles, they no longer qualify for the federal tax incentive, which was if you owed up to $7,500 in federal income tax at the end of the year, then that would be wiped clean. Now, you wouldn't get a cash rebate for this by any means. It was only a credit applied to whatever taxes you owed. So let's say you owed $10,000, but you own a Tesla, they would take $7,500 off, so you'd only owe $2,500. Let's say you only owe $2,000 in federal tax liability. What they did was they only cleaned that $2,000 for you, or cleared, I should say, and that would be it. You wouldn't get the difference in cash or anything like that. Now, for 2021, the Biden administration is looking to pass a bill that would essentially allow GMC and Tesla, who are two manufacturers that have already passed that 200,000 sold EV vehicle mark, they would allow them to get back in the game. And if that does pass, if you have a federal tax liability of up to $10,000, then they would wipe it clear, similar to what they did a few years back. So I think, that's a huge incentive for people to want to buy a Tesla. And I think that's a really big reason in 2021 and looking into the future that you guys should definitely consider buying a Tesla Model 3 or any Tesla for that matter. Now let's get into reason number 2. So reason number 2, Teslas, specifically the Model 3, they retain up to 90% of their original value. And you can look that up online. Tesla prides themselves on their vehicles being able to retain their original value. Now, we can definitely attest to this if you simply just go on Tesla's website and look for a used Model 3. You'll see that every single used Tesla on their website is more than the MSRP of an original Tesla. The demand of any vehicle, whether it's gas or electric right now, because we're past the pandemic for the most part, people want to get back into cars. They sold their cars, they couldn't afford the car, or they weren't traveling to work. So if you own a Tesla Model 3, you decide to buy one now, if you ever wanted to resell that in a couple years, 3, 4, 5 years, then you're pretty much going to get the car for the same exact price. So it's a win-win. It's not like you get a gas car, you buy a Mercedes, and 3 years later you're like, you know what, I don't like the car, I want to sell it. You're not going to sell that for up to 90% of its original value. So reason number 3 is the fact that Tesla does the over-the-air software updates. So similar to your iPhone, where you have your automatic updates scheduled on your phone, what happens is Tesla will automatically, if there's an update, they will over-the-air push that update to your car. So you can actually schedule that depending on if you're on Wi-Fi or if there's a specific time of the day that you want the update to your software to happen, but they push it out to all their vehicle owners. So what does that mean? If you have a 2017 or a 2018 Tesla Model 3, it's pretty much the same car that you're getting in 2021, 2022, 2023, other than the actual bodywork of the car, maybe the tires, maybe a couple updates to their seats or the interior. But for the most part, the biggest thing in the Tesla is the software, the screen, the 15-inch screen. So as long as they're pushing updates to you, which they do to every Tesla owner, you're getting a brand new car, regardless if you purchased it a couple years ago or if you're getting it in 2021. All right, so that's the third reason why. Let's move onward to the fourth. So the fourth reason why I think you should purchase a Tesla Model 3 is because you have the ability to add features to that car at any time. Now, what features would you want to buy after the fact, right? You purchased your Tesla, you're a year down the road. What could you possibly want? Well, there's a couple things. So if you purchase the Standard Range Plus, it's actually the one vehicle in that flight. So when I say flight, I mean they have long range and then they have the performance. So what that means is the long range and the performance range comes with heated seats in the back 3, whereas the Standard Range Plus, the cheapest model they offer, they don't have heated seats in the back. You can purchase that at any point in time. Additionally, I believe it's $300 if you wanted to get the heated seats in the back of the car. Now, it's actually one feature, but we'll call it 2. What you can do is you can purchase a full self-driving capability. Now, every Tesla comes with autopilot and auto steering, so that's the normal capability that every Tesla owner has been experiencing. So what that does for you currently is the auto steering and autopilot will, if there's 2 lines in the road and you turn it on, the car will keep the speed limit. You can also increase that if you want, if you're on the highway, etc. But it'll increase the speed limit, it'll slow the car down, it'll steer for you as long as it recognizes a lane. Now, it won't stop for you, so just keep in mind that 2 things. You should, 1, have your hands on the wheel, because it will actually send a warning in the car to let you know if you're not putting enough pressure on the steering wheel. So you have to have your hands on the wheel, and you need to be paying attention, number 1. And then number 2, it doesn't stop for you at stop signs or stoplights. Now, let's move and talk about what you can add to the car. As I mentioned before, you can get the full self-driving capability. It'll parallel park for you. It will stop at traffic lights and stop signs. It'll drive on local roads. It'll recognize trash cans. It'll recognize cars on the road, and it'll avoid hitting things. However, it's another $10,000 added to the car. So if you didn't want to purchase it right away and you wanted to save up and get it at a later point in time, you definitely can for the $10,000. Now, that's one way you can get full self-driving capability. Currently, Tesla's going to offer the ability to purchase full self-driving on a monthly basis. So let's say, for most people, you're really not going to need full self-driving. It's icing on the cake. It's totally not necessary. Maybe in the future, that is the future of EVs and the future of driving in general. But say you just wanted to try it out for a month. I don't know what the price is going to be or what there's, projecting it will be, but if you wanted to add it on a monthly basis instead of paying the full $10,000, let's say it's $100 a month or $50 a month, hey, if you want to try it out, you can add that after the fact. So number 5, Sentry mode and dash cam. Now, why are these two features that come with any Tesla important? Well, let's say you step away from your vehicle. Sentry mode gives you the ability to record and save if someone is in range of your car and it projects or predicts or feels that there was a scratch or someone's trying to break in or someone dinged your car. So what you can do is save that footage on the USB flash drive that you have to put in the vehicle. And then if something happens, God forbid, then you can record that and then upload it and send it directly to your insurance provider. Now, what's the difference between Sentry mode and dash cam? Well, Sentry mode is when your car is idling or sitting or parked somewhere, and it's constantly recording that while you're away from the vehicle. The dash cam is while you're actually driving. If you get into an accident driving, you can set a feature if you honk the horn, it will automatically record the footage from the prior 10 minutes. And then you can also decide to just download it. You can just tap the screen. There's a button where you can just record the prior 10 minutes as well. That is the Sentry mode and the dash cam. It's really good. You know, if something happens to your car while you're driving, you get into an accident, or while you're even away from the vehicle and someone breaks in, I think that's a major reason why you should consider getting a Tesla in 2021. Now, let's go to reason number 6. So 6 is the infrastructure for Tesla, or the charging alternatives. So as you guys know, you can install a charger directly in your house. You don't want to use the standard plug-in because that's going to take, you're going to get 2 miles per hour of charging, and it's just not enough. You can get a NEMA installed in your garage or in your house and plug that in, and that'll give you a lot more, probably around 20, maybe 30 miles added to your car per hour. And that's fine, but for me personally, I live in an apartment, and that is a struggle for most people. So what are the alternatives? So you obviously have these supercharge stations, right? And that infrastructure is huge. We can take a look at that.
All right, guys, let's take a look at the Tesla supercharger infrastructure. So if we're taking a look on their website, it's tesla.com/supercharger. If we scroll down, we'll see that there's 25,000 plus global superchargers. It can take between 15 minutes and then I would say 45 minutes to get up to 200 miles, and it's cheaper than gasoline, obviously. It could cost, from my understanding, anywhere between $5 and maybe $18 at the absolute most to fill up your car. Now, if you just look at the map here, it's all over the U.S. from Oregon all the way down to California. Look at the East Coast. I mean, it's densely populated, and then all the way down to Florida as well. Looks like Michigan's pretty good. Ohio in that area is pretty good. Pennsylvania. It's a really good infrastructure, guys, and it's still growing completely.
Now that we've looked at the Tesla supercharger infrastructure, we can tell that it's large, and they're going to continue to grow that. But there are alternatives. Now, the alternatives, I'm going to just name 3 different companies that offer charging for free or even at a very low cost. And those 3 are ChargePoint, EVgo, and Blink Charging. Now, they all have their own websites, they have their own apps, and you can locate any stations like you would the supercharge stations, and you could pull up to them, and even on the website or on their app before you get there, you can see how much it costs to charge certain miles per hour, or I believe it's kilowatts per hour, and it's usually a couple cents. And the full charge, you know, if you needed to get up to 80%, you know, you're looking at probably around $5 to $10 to charge your car up. So it's not bad, and some are even free. It's like where I work, we have a ChargePoint charger, which it's not harmful to the battery over time. It's slow charging. It's probably around 20 to 25 miles per hour that gets added to the vehicle. Mine's free because I'm an employee, so they don't offer it up to the public. But again, that's something where, you know, if you have an employer that does offer electric charging for free like mine does, that's a great incentive. So charging alternatives are huge. Again, some are free, some cost between $5 and $10 to fill up. All right, guys, so I'm going to show you the ChargePoint website. So you could type in ChargePoint, go to the website, or they also have an app you can go to. So you could download the app if you want to look at it through there as well. And to get to where you can see if there's a ChargePoint station near you, is you can hit the hamburger on the top left, go to drivers, and then under getting started, you would click the charging map. Now, the map will ask, do you want it to use the location? You can go ahead and hit allow so it knows where you are. I'm going to just zoom out a little bit. And as you can see, when I zoom out, there are tons of charging stations. Like if we look at the Tesla Supercharge network, there's a lot of Tesla superchargers, but even on the ChargePoint, depending on where you live, there's going to be a ton near you as well. So it's super cool. And the numbers on the top that you see are generating are how many stations are actually like available. If they're in use, it'll say how many are available, how much it costs, the charging capability of it, so how quick it would take to charge, the power of it, if it's compatible with Tesla, if it's you can filter on if it's free or not. But as you can see, depending on where you live, there are just tons of available options here. If you wanted something other than a Tesla supercharger at a lower price, this is good. And you don't want to use a Tesla supercharger all the time because it actually degrades the battery quicker since it's such a powerful charge. So you do want to use, if you're living in an apartment or if you don't want to get something installed in your house, you definitely want to use these as your regular charge rather than a supercharge. Now let's move on to the last one, number 7, the state and federal adoption of a bigger EV infrastructure. That was a lot of words. So what we mean by all that is the Biden administration and the government is buying in on the whole, let's build and let's put a bigger EV charging infrastructure across the US. So I believe the goal that they're saying is by 2030, they want to add another 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations across the country. I mean, that's huge. If you look at the ChargePoint stations, if you look at EVgo, if you look at Blink, and if you look at the Tesla superchargers, we already have a pretty big infrastructure. So in another 9 years, they want to add another 500,000 charging stations across the US. I mean, this is the future. If you were scared or deterred away from thinking, oh, I don't want to charge at home, I don't want to install at home, or I need to go on a road trip, I'm not going to be able to charge, or you don't think, the Tesla can hold up enough miles to make it anywhere. That's not true. There's tons of charging stations, there's tons of options, and this is just the beginning. All right, guys, well, that was reason number 7. A lot more content to come. I hope you guys like this. If you want to see something different, please feel free to comment, like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys later.